If you need immediate help, please call the National Substance Abuse and Mental Health Hotline at 1-800-662-HELP. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me go home and start over. Welcome to Clean and Sober Radio, brought to you in part by Jefferson University Hospitals and Thomas Jefferson University, providing excellent clinical and compassionate care in the Philadelphia region, a proven leader in healthcare and education since 1825. And now, here are your hosts, Gary Hendler and Mark Sigmund.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Clean and Sober Radio out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Clean and Sober Radio features real people with real stories about addiction to drugs and alcohol. Mark Sigmund, what's new this week in recovery news?
So the president of the United States is threatening to attack Colombia now. Trump issued this warning during a cabinet meeting on Tuesday at the White House, where he singled out Colombia for producing cocaine and selling it into the United States. The president of Colombia, President Petro, invited Trump to come down to Colombia and see the approximately 18,400 cocaine laboratories that he says his government has destroyed. He also warned Trump against threatening Colombia, and he says that they are destroying one laboratory every 40 minutes down there in Colombia.
Wow, but you know, who knows what's true and what isn't in this world.
Yes, and as you know, my wife's from Colombia, and she was saying that, like, it's mostly in the jungle areas that they have all the cocaine labs and things like that. And the interesting thing is, people think that people must use a lot of cocaine down there, and you know, the locals think we're stupid for using cocaine, and you know, they just sell it to us basically.
Right.
So pretty crazy stuff, Gary.
Really crazy stuff.
Yeah. War on drugs, right?
Yeah. What else you have, Mark?
Secondly, I think a lot of people probably saw this story, but an Ashland, Virginia area liquor store found a trashed raccoon passed out on the bathroom floor at the end of his drunken escapade. Workers came in, they found him laying down, passed out next to the toilet. There, if you can picture this, there was broken liquor bottles around the store, and this poor raccoon literally, you know, overdosed basically on it, and they brought him to a local animal shelter to sober up.
You know, I would say I saw that on nightly news. It was like one of the end of stories on Channel 6 in Philadelphia. And it looked like, you know, a bunch of people came in here and were robbing the place.
It did.
But this raccoon was busting bottles all over the place and drinking. And they found him, as you said, laying in the bathroom on his back.
Out cold.
Out cold.
So I imagine they had to give him fluids to kind of
So, you know, it's weird. It's not just humans who like that feeling. It's the animal world also likes to be out of reality.
And you know, Clean and Sober Radio for many years has been coming up with stories about this, about the animals and the way it affects them. And
monkeys.
There's certain birds that drink like an alcoholic plant, I believe.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of use in nature.
It is amazing to think that we think we are above all of nature, of course, which we're not.
Yeah.
They like getting high too. And, you know, that's probably where we evolved from. But you know what must be a problem? When an animal gets high, they want to get high again.
Yeah.
Where do they cop?
Well, that's it. And you know, on a serious note, you know, they've done experiments on certain, areas of water, like one near Brazil, where there was all kinds of negative effects because they were finding literally cocaine in the water supply, and it was affecting like the mussels, it was affecting things. And they've also seen in Florida where they think it's affecting sharks, and sharks are becoming more aggressive in the Florida Keys.
Oh, aggressive on
aggressive for cocaine, because they're actually eating cocaine. They're finding these big packages of cocaine, and they're actually taking bites out of it.
You know what? So AA could be now Animal Anonymous.
It could. And, you know, I got one more if you want to hear it.
Yeah, let me hear it.
So this is kind of scary. And, you know, it's kind of our continuing coverage of the now marijuana possibly eventually epidemic, right? Several students at a Stranahan High School in Florida were hospitalized on Wednesday morning after consuming marijuana gummies. Broward County Public Schools reported that 5 students had an adverse reaction to the edibles, though Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue transported 4. One 14-year-old student's mother stated her daughter believed the gummies were candy and described the experience as an out-of-body experience. Toxicology reports confirmed the presence of marijuana in the student's system. The incident is currently under investigation, and students involved are facing disciplinary actions. But
the students are facing disciplinary actions.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. Look, when we come back, Simon Kirke just called in. He's running 10 minutes late, but he's definitely going to be here. And we're really looking forward to that interview. So let's take a break now, and we'll be right back.
This is Clean and Sober Radio.
A cancer diagnosis can knock the wind out of you. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health can help. Our brand new Asplund Cancer Pavilion brings you 86,000 square feet of cancer-fighting science for truly comprehensive care. Backed by the strength of an NCI-designated cancer center. Call 1-800-JEFF now. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health. The power to out-science cancer.
Hey, this is Jackie Martling, and I listen to Clean and Sober Radio. This is still Jackie Martling, and you should listen to Clean and Sober Radio. Everybody should listen to Clean and Sober Radio.
610-632-8601. This is Clean and Sober Radio.
You know, you can always enjoy Clean and Sober Radio by listening to radio stations like these. WWDB in Philadelphia, WPEN 97.5 FM High Def 2 in Philadelphia, WGAC in Augusta, Georgia, WJBR 1010 Tampa, Florida, and you can listen to us on all sorts of mediums all over the place.
All over the world. And you can also tune in to YouTube and find Clean and Sober Radio, some of the old shows.
Yes.
It's kind of a brand new thing here.
Yeah.
So, tune in.
Yeah, to have a tune in. So we're waiting for Simon Kirke to call in, and we have a little time here. How would you, I want to, we're hoping that all our audience had a great Thanksgiving. This is a holiday season, and we have to be, really careful about parties that we go to and all sorts of stuff so we don't get trapped in picking up during this joyous month.
It's, as I'm a therapist, as a lot of people know, and that's something that we really pay a lot of attention to around this time of year, because it's not just people, places, and things and being around alcohol, but a lot of people have lost loved ones, and a lot of people, maybe they're going through a divorce and they're going through grief. And the holidays bring a lot of this stuff up. And it's extremely hard for people. And you see a lot of relapses. We actually get busy following the holidays. It's like people kind of tend to keep it together. Then January, February, we get crushed.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like they crash.
It's like they crash.
And knowing this, guys, you're listening, if you think you need help or a loved one needs help, reach out to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Hotline at 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-HELP. And also, Mark, you have the other very important number.
Another one is 988, and that's the suicide hotline. And what I found is even if you're going through a crisis and you're even if you're not suicidal, you can call that number and somebody will talk to you and you'll be able to get right through. So keep that in mind. Again, people go into crisis at this time of year.
I got to tell you a quick story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Before Simon calls in. My ex-probation officer came to my office this week. And I got off of probation in 1984. Got off of it.
Were you scared?
What, when he showed up?
Yeah, I would have still been bugged out.
We talked. And he said to me, thank you for bringing me to my first AA meeting in 1983. He said, I felt like an outsider walking in there like a fraud. He goes, but at the end of the meeting, I felt like I belonged. And he said, everybody belongs in these AA meetings. So my probation officer was talking like that. It was pretty nice,
Hey, Gary, I got good news.
Simon Kirke, welcome to Clean and Sober Radio, man.
Hello, Simon.
Hey.
So you have me, obviously, Gary Hendler, my co-host, Mark Sigmund. That's who we're talking with. That's who we're doing today. Simon, thanks so much for giving us some time. And I don't know if you remember, but you were on the show in 2019, and you were actually late that day because you had run over a deer. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember this.
That's right, yeah. Well, a deer ran into us.
Yeah.
Wow, was it really 6 years ago?
It was 6 years ago, man, you know?
No, man. Yeah, that was a close call. And, but luckily we were okay. And
Yeah.
anyway, here I am. So good to be with you guys.
Yeah, you know, we just played Free and All Right Now, and I have to tell you a quick story before we get into your story. When that record came out, the album came out in 1970, it was on A&M Records, and I worked at Universal Records in Philadelphia, and I was actually the first person when that box of 25 albums came into us, promotional copies, to open it up, and we put that record on, and the local promotion man, whose name was Billy Harper, was with A&M Records. He was screaming so loud, and that record became a monster hit, as you know. Pretty cool.
Wow, 1970, huh?
Yeah. Do you remember 1970?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
I'm having a little trouble remembering it, to tell you the truth.
No. I mean, there was certain parts of certain decades, for obvious reasons, that I don't remember. But I certainly remember
that one
when Island Records called us and said, "You've gone from number 53 to number 2 in England, and we're sending a car for you."
Oh, then you knew you made it, man, right?
Yeah, then we know we've made it.
So Simon, so you left school at 17. You were living in the country side in England, and you left. You returned back to London. You were pretty young, and for a couple years, almost 2 decades, you tried to get a drumming gig. Were you playing?
Yeah.
When did you start playing drums?
Well, I started. I didn't really get my actual first drum kit for about 18 months after I started banging around on pots and pans and books on my bed.
Uh-huh.
Because, I lived in a very remote part of England, miles from anywhere. So I didn't actually get a drum, for a long time. But I started hacking around, I guess, when I was about 13. And then at the end for my 14th birthday, I got one snare drum. And, and so I made the transition from pots and pans to one snare drum, and then with my lawn mowing money, I bought a small drum kit, a 4-piece, a regular kit, about 6 months later.
When you said drum kit, everybody in the studio here went kit, because we call it a drum set in the United States.
Right.
So it's
okay.
Oh yeah. So it's like first time I actually heard that was Ringo Starr talking about his first drum kit.
Yeah.
It's really
drum
funny.
set. Yeah, I guess it's the same language, just divided by 3,000 miles of water.
Exactly. And you know what? I am a drummer, and I always say the great thing about drums, if you have rhythm, you can't hit a wrong note.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
so if you can ride a bicycle, you can play drums.
Well, that's very possible.
If you sit down, honestly, I taught a guy the rudiments of a drum, of a regular 2 and 4 drum beat at a rock and roll fantasy camp a few years ago. He'd never played drums in his life. It was his ambition to play drums. And after about 10 minutes of very basic stuff, I got him playing a regular doom, 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 and it's a lot easier than people think it is.
But you have to have rhythm, don't you?
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, okay.
And everyone has them.
Yeah. So, all right, you got your first, you met this guy named Paul, is it Kossoff? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Kossoff. Yeah.
He offered you a drumming position after you were looking for years with a group called Black Cat Bones.
Correct.
How did you feel when you got your first gig?
Well, it was the backstory to that is that my parents had given me 2 years to get this bug, this drumming bug out of my system.
Yeah.
And if nothing happens after 2 years, I'd go to college or university because I got good grades. So when I met Paul Kossoff and the Black Cat Bones, I was 23 months into the 24 months that I'd been given by my parents.
Wow.
So, the door was closing pretty quickly. And when they offered me the gig, and it was a professional blues band, we were doing gigs all around London, all around the tri-state area around London. So I was really, really happy But of course, this was not, this was like one step along the road for me. It wasn't like, this wasn't a done deal. Because blues bands, we were riding the blues boom in England, but it wasn't really like, there was no longevity to it, I didn't think. So it was when Kossoff came to me, about 3 months later and said, I've met this great singer named Paul Rogers, and he wants to form a band and just keep the blues, but be a bit more progressive and do our own songs. That was the big leap of faith, to start a brand new band and writing our own songs. And, of course, that became Free.
Wow. And this was a time, this was after the British invasion. The Beatles were pretty much done. And was the genre of music, it shifted in the United States. Did it also shift in England?
I think what happened, or I know what happened, in that there was this golden decade, which for me was 63 to 73 for English music. I mean, it will never be replicated or duplicated or whatever. But it kind of rode the blues boom. There was a huge blues boom in England, spearheaded by the Stones, and then Deep Purple and Zeppelin. Zeppelin really catapulted it in 1968. So the blues boom, and you get all these American blues artists coming over to England and Europe who couldn't get arrested in America, and they were hugely popular in England and Europe. And we get these package tours: Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Little Walter, Buddy Guy. I mean, it was amazing. So there was a love affair between England and the blues, and Free was primarily a progressive blues band. And it was only after a couple of years, when we wrote All Right Now, that it became this sort of quote unquote pop band, and we became this fucking pop band with All Right Now.
Right. I'll tell you. So let me ask you this, and I've asked this to a lot of our guests, like Dion especially. Dion DiMucci, and I said, Dion, what was it like the first time that you heard your record on the radio? Can you feel that, Simon, right now? What that felt like?
Oh, it's an otherworldly feeling to hear. First of all, you think, oh, the drums aren't very loud, and then think, hang on a minute, you're being listened to by millions of people right now. Enjoy it. When I first heard All Right Now, it's still kicked along, even on a tiny transistor radio speaker.
Yes.
And I knew we had something special. Yeah.
You absolutely did. And Dion told me that he was crossing the Verrazano Bridge, and there was a car of girls next to him, convertible, and they were listening to one of his songs, and he beeps his horn, and he points to himself, and he says, "That's me." And they were like, "Yeah, buddy, okay."
Right.
Right. So
Mr. Desperate.
Yeah, Mr. Desperate.
Yeah.
So Free, you described that, I think, as a beer and dope band. Is that accurate?
Yeah. We drank a lot of beer. We smoked a lot of hash. That was the drug in England at the time, because hash came from Asia. It came through to Holland because of the Dutch connection.
Yeah.
So grass was unheard of. We couldn't grow grass in England because of the weather. The climate was wrong, but there was a lot of hash. And we smoked a lot of hash, and we drank a lot of warm beer, which is what English people love.
Absolutely. Hey, if you're just joining us now, we're having the opportunity to speak with Simon Kirke, founding member of Free and Bad Company. And if you would like to give a call in and talk with him, our number is 610-632-8601. That's 610-632-8601. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Well, Simon, you and I had something in common, because we both you like mandrakes, and I love Quaaludes.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, no. I mean, that was not my thing.
Yeah.
Paul Kossoff became totally hooked on downers, particularly mandrakes. which were the English equivalent of Quaaludes.
Yes.
I liked them, but I was more into speed and staying up and doing things. I was not really into downers as such, which is why I got hooked on coke. And
Well, I like the combination of Quaaludes and Coke. That was a real good combination.
Well, they should call that the make up your mind dose.
Yeah, that's right. So Simon, between Mark and myself, we have almost 70 years in sobriety here.
Wow.
And
that's great, man.
Yeah, and what do you have? You're 33 years or 30? What do you have? How many years?
No, I had a slip about. I'm coming up on 12.
Okay,
so
beautiful.
I fell off the wagon about 20 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
So in your group 3, there was some between some band members some problems. What was going on between? Was it? Wait a minute. Who were the two guys that were going at it most of the time?
Well, Paul Rogers and Andy Fraser.
Yeah, Fraser and Rogers.
Yeah, they were the principal songwriters. But like anything, when it gets successful, Andy and Paul kind of drifted apart. They started writing their own songs. Andy became a bit of a dictator,
right.
And even though he was the youngest in the band, musically he was pretty far advanced, and he made the mistake of kind of telling us what to play for a period of time, which did not sit well with any of us.
Right.
And what happened was that after the failure to follow up All Right Now, we had a single called The Stealer and an album called The Highway.
Yeah.
And both of them tanked. Both of them didn't chart. It was a big disappointment for us. And we were being worked to death. And Paul and Andy said, we don't want to continue. So in essence, basically they broke up the band.
Yeah.
And we went our various ways.
Well, I guess this is a prime example. When one door closes, another door opens, which happened for you guys,
Go ahead. I mean, it wasn't a clean break. We actually did reform again because Kossoff was getting really strung out, and we didn't really know about addiction and rehab and so on. I mean, nowadays he would have been, pulled by the scruff of his neck into a rehab and told to get himself together.
Right.
Back then, we had no idea.
Right.
We just cancelled tours and told him to get his act together with his girlfriend, and she looked after him. But of course, without a structured program, as we know, you're setting yourself up to fail. And so anyway, we did reform, and in 1973 we broke up for good.
Right, it was back and forth, but
went on to form
band company. But my question is, in 1970, Paul Rogers was given an award by the British music industry. Why weren't you given that award?
I think you're alluding to. No, it would have been 1970. That was when we released All Right Now. I know he got an award years later.
No, I meant 2000. You're right. Absolutely, it was in 2000.
Oh, that would be 2 million plays.
2 million plays
of All Right Now in British radio. Well, he wrote the song, so I guess he gets the accolade.
I guess so.
I
guess so. Hey, we have to take our first break, Simon. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with Simon Kirke, founder of Free and Bad Company. Stay with us.
This is Clean and Sober Radio.
A cancer diagnosis can knock the wind out of you. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health can help. Our brand new Asplund Cancer Pavilion brings you 86,000 square feet of cancer-fighting science for truly comprehensive care. Backed by the strength of an NCI-designated cancer center. Call 1-800-JEFF now. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health. The power to out-science cancer.
Hi, this is Randy the Blaze Lurch. I listen to Clean and Sober Radio.
Welcome back to Clean and Sober Radio with Simon Kirke. Simon, so as I said, I guess one door opens, one door closes, one door opens. Tell us about how you formed Bad Company.
So what happened was, as I said earlier, we all went our separate ways been free.
Yeah.
I went to Brazil. Paul Rodgers went to Japan. Kossoff, went into his little apartment and stayed there for forever. And I came back. I came back from Brazil in the winter, or rather the early spring of '73, and I called Paul Rodgers up and said, "Hey man, how's it going?" I hadn't spoken to him for months and months. I think we all wanted to, get away from each other.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, everything's great. I've broken up my band." He had a band called Peace, which was supporting Mott the Hoople on their English tour.
Yeah.
And that's where he met Mick Rouse during this tour. They would jam together in the dressing room, and Mick Rouse played him this song on a little reel-to-reel called "Can't Get Enough." And Paul said, "This is absolutely incredible." And Mick Rouse said, "Well, Ian Hunter doesn't want to sing it." And Mick told me later, Paul started singing along to it in the dressing room, and the hair on the back of his neck stood up because Paul Rodgers, one of the greatest of all singers.
Sure.
He transformed this little demo into what would become, one of our most popular songs. So anyway, Paul Rodgers said, "Well, look, we need a drummer. You want to be in the band?" I said, "Fuck yeah, I'd love to." And so I went to meet Mick and Paul down in this little cottage outside London, and we just jammed around. We didn't have a bass player.
Yeah.
We were looking for bass players for months.
Yeah.
And Boz Burrell,
Yeah.
Raymond Boz Burrell came on board right at the very end. He was the last guy on the list of bass players, and he fitted like a glove. He was perfect.
And he was from King Crimson, right?
From King Crimson, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we sat around the table thinking, well, we need the best manager. Who's the biggest band in the world? Led Zeppelin. And as fate would have it, our roadie, it was from New Zealand, and he come over from New Zealand with another guy who was roadieing for Led Zeppelin. And Graham, our roadie, called up his friend, Clive Coulson, and said, "Listen, Paul Rodgers and Mick and Simon have formed this band. They want to get hold of Peter Grant. Is there any way?" And blow me down, he called us back the next day. He said, I've heard you've got a new band, and I'd love to come and see you." Wow. Okay, yeah. So the next, I believe a few days later, we were in the little village hall practicing, and in walks Peter Grant. And he said, "I've been listening in the car park because I knew you'd be nervous if I sat in front of you."
Yeah.
Clever guy.
Yeah, clever, yeah.
And I love what I hear, and we're forming a new record company called Swan Song. Me and the boys being Led Zeppelin. Yeah. Would you like to be on it? And we said, we'll have to think about it. Yeah.
We love the backstories. Hey, listen, to our audience, if you're just listening and you want to watch us right now do the show, go to Facebook, go to our page, Clean and Sober Radio, and you can watch Mark and I talking with Simon Kirke, just like these people. Judge Christopher Maddox is watching. We have to, Simon, we have to be careful. We have a lot of judges who are watching us doing this show.
No worries.
No problem. we got no problems now. Nolan Burchett, California. Happy holidays, guys. Mike Burke, Media, Pennsylvania. Laura Lynn Timmons Bayless. I butcher everybody's names. Eddie Kilgore, MacGyver T, Robert Brandis. We'll get to everybody. We got a lot of people that are actually watching us right now, Simon, which is fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let me ask you a question. So your parents, I just want to jump back real quick. Your parents gave you 24 months to get this nonsense out of your head. Did they eventually become proud of their son?
Well, I gave my father my first gold album. And that shut him up.
Yeah. I guess that would, man.
He hung it in his little apartment, and it was there till the day he died. And they were cautiously happy.
Yeah,
they were not stupid. They knew that this weird pop scene could explode at any minute in our faces, and we were sort of living from hit to hit.
Sure.
But once Free started traveling around England and having these wonderful shows. We got this incredible group of fans. I mean, thousands of fans all over the country.
Yeah.
And we had some amazing shows, really high voltage, and it was a wonderful couple of years. And then, of course, All Right Now hit, and instead of playing a different town every night, we were playing a different country.
Wow.
We'd be in France one, then the next day be in Holland, then the next day Belgium, next day Germany, next day Switzerland. So it propelled us into the atmosphere, or the stratosphere, really, having that hit. Bit of a millstone.
It's hard to imagine. We're talking to you, and so many people knew you were coming on the show today. It was like, oh my God, how did you get him? And it's amazing how fame can separate you from the reality of people. Like people almost think you're not a real person. Like you don't get sick, or you don't have to go to the bathroom, or whatever. But you're real, right?
It's funny, you should bring that up, because I'm pretty friendly with Sting.
Yeah.
Who is the healthiest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
And a few months ago, I got a text from his PA, his secretary, saying, Sting can't, there's a couple of shows he can't do. And I said, well, give him my love, I hope he gets better. And she said he's never missed a show in nearly 50 years. And you think, he is maybe, or we are outside of the realms of humanity, because we get to play and get bathed in applause every night, and we get on private planes and this and that. We're actually, we're quite human.
Right.
And it's just that we're lucky. We made our own luck, and we got hit with a bolt of lightning, and we've been very, very lucky. But I still have to go to the grocery store. I don't have when I got, the next day after the Hall of Fame induction, I was on my bicycle going to fucking Whole Foods.
Yeah. Now, you're friendly with Ricky Bird, aren't you?
Yeah.
So Ricky comes on the show a lot. And I said to Ricky, what was it like when you're playing when you were with Joan Jett, playing in front of, let's say, 10, 15, 20,000 people, and then you go back to your hotel room and it's silent. What is that transition like, Simon? What happens?
Well, nowadays it's lovely. I love silence.
Yeah.
I cannot get into a car and hear loud music. I just can't. Back in the days when I was using, it was a springboard for the rest of the night. You'd think I'd be happy being, feted and thousands of people applauding. That would be enough. No. That was not enough. That was just starting. Yeah. So the night would start for me around midnight in my hotel room or someone else's room with some lines and drinks and God knows. And so nowadays when I do my solo shows, I come back and I lie on the bed and I read my book, and I'm usually asleep by 12:30.
Wow. You see that visual is extremely hard for a lot of people to understand. And it's just fame can do a lot of good things to you and a lot of bad things, right? I mean,
well, it's given me a platform upon which to help other people with my sobriety. I can now speak to a lot of people like I am now, or when I, working with road recovery and Right Turn, the two organizations that help people with addiction. It's given me a platform upon which to reach other people. And I love that.
And you're on the board. You're on the board of Road Recovery, and that organization is mainly, does it help teens to get their lives back together?
Teens and young, adolescents in their early 20s, and it's primarily with substance abuse. Yeah. Because as you know, guys, it's just as bad as it ever was. Even maybe worse.
It's worse. Yeah.
I was seeing this documentary on Kensington in Philadelphia.
We've been there.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It's like Zombieland.
If you didn't actually go there, it's absolutely impossible to believe what you see. It's so scary and sad, and I say to myself, this is how this country, this society deals with people who have problems like this. It's tragic, really tragic.
No, I get it. I get it, and it's as bad a problem. I think it's probably even worse now, because back in my day when I was really tearing the ass out of everything, there was no fentanyl. It was just blow and booze and pills. I mean, now it's just there's this other stuff called xylazine.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
we're
familiar with it. Yeah, we're familiar with it.
Oh,
It's like, but when we were coming up, you never heard of people, at least I never did, people dying from Quaaludes or from Coke or from, Black Beauty, speed. You never heard of that. Now, one time it could do you in.
Well, they say it's like around about 100, 120 people a day are now dying in America.
Yeah. Easily.
It's a Vietnam every year, almost 50,000 a year. So God help us. We need people like you. We need people like Road Recovery. We need every bit of help that we can get. And to erase, I think the difference between now and when I was really crazy about it, crazy acting out, was the stigma has been lifted. There's not the stigma now that, I'm Simon, I'm an addict, an alcoholic. Big deal. Good for you. Good for putting your hand up.
Right.
But 40, 50 years ago, no one had the balls, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To say, hey, I'm Simon and I've got a problem with drugs.
I remember in my early recovery speaking at an AA meeting, and I brought up that I used narcotics, and the old-timers got up and walked out of the room.
No shit.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's not like that now, So tell us.
Alcohol is a drug.
It's the worst drug.
Have you seen the chemical equation for alcohol? Yeah.
Well, Mark deals with this all day long.
I have encountered that before. I have. People say, "Oh, don't talk about pills." Man, we're all addicts. It doesn't matter what the substance is.
Right.
I was addicted to booze. I was addicted to whatever. But I'm here to recover. And if you put up a block by saying we're only talking about alcohol, that is so. I didn't say that because
I know
people were. Most people were on my side, but the old timer was just stick to booze. I was like, you fucking idiot. Yeah. Anyway,
we got to watch the language a little bit, Simon. Okay?
I'm sorry.
That's right. But, also another issue that Mark and I have more than I have is anonymity. I understand if you don't want your boss to know, but I think anonymity puts us in the back room and doesn't.
Definitely.
I really have a big issue with that. We're not. We've gotten flack on this station for saying AA and NA, and guess what? We don't really care because we're here, like you have a platform to help people understand that you can get well.
Right. I think the whole anonymity thing is like when 90 years ago when AA was founded. 35.
Yeah.
There really was stigma attached to doing it, and people didn't want to. They didn't want to own up. But I think nowadays, listen, if it wasn't for Alice Cooper, Eric Clapton, and Elton John, the big three of rock and roll sobriety, I probably wouldn't even be on board. Ray Davies from the Kinks, has cited Eric Clapton as being the number one reason he quit drinking.
Wow.
So it's amazing. I say I'm Simon Kirke. I'm the drummer with Bad Company and Free, and I'm an alcoholic and addict. I want you to learn from my mistakes,
right?
Because I don't want you going through wasting your life,
right?
Like I did with parts of mine,
right? Exactly.
And if I can help a teenager or someone in their 20s sidestep what I went through, then my job is done.
Absolutely.
Well, it's crazy, Simon. It's like. If you look around, you can actually find old radio shows that Bill W. is on.
Really?
Yeah, if you can look it up, and there were some times when he was on the radio, and I always think to myself, I'm like, if he was around these days with all of social media and the opioid epidemic going on, how would the traditions have come out? You know, but I was curious. What do you think your biggest bottom was in your own addiction that kind of led you?
It's etched in my brain. I was on a tour bus, 1995, so I'd be 46, and we had some rock and roll doctor and his wife who met us at this gig in Tennessee. They came on board. We were all drinking like crazy, doing blow, and he pulled out some Ativan.
Oh, sure.
Heavy narcotic. It's great talking to fellow addicts. I know what Ativan is.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah,
we did that. Yeah, no problem.
And I think I took one, which is unlike me. I normally take 2 or 3, but I didn't. And I swigged it down with some Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the last thing I remember, apart from being walked around by my girlfriend in the tour bus. Everyone had gone into the hotel.
Yeah.
And she's slapping my face. She's saying, "You're turning blue, you're turning blue, you're turning blue."
Oh.
And that was it. When I woke up from that horrible episode, I thought, I don't think you can go much further, man, without checking out. So you got to get your shit together. And that really was a turning point for me. I wish I could say, guys, that I got sober from that day, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But what it did do, it turned my body and my mind 180 degrees. And it started showing me the way into the light. And really, from that day, I never did blow again. Stopped doing blow, which was huge. Once I stopped doing coke, everything kind of dissipated. You know, it fell away. I still drank.
Yeah.
I still smoked dope, but not to the crazy levels that I did when I was doing coke. But I went into my second rehab in '96. It took me another couple of rehabs to get it. But, yeah, that was my bottom, definitely.
So your wife left you at one point, didn't she?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She said, I was drinking brandy in the morning, and she propped up a note against an empty Courvoisier bottle and said, "I've taken your daughter. You won't see us again until you get your act together." Wow.
Yeah, that's heavy. That still doesn't work for a lot of people. Even that.
That didn't work for me. I mean, I went to a rehab and got clean for about 6 weeks, and I managed to keep it together for a few months after that. But no, I went back to it. It's got to, looking back now, and I'm sure you guys feel the same. When you look back on that guy who was using and shared the same body as you do now, it was a different guy.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a different person.
Definitely.
And,
definitely. That's real. That's for sure.
It's crazy when you see old
I mean,
pictures.
you could hold a gun to my head, and I wouldn't do a line of coke.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't miss drinking. I don't miss that whole way of life. That sneaking, that lying.
All right, let me ask you a question. This is just between the three of us, okay?
With the rest of the world.
Yeah, when Mark and I talk about this, I still, if I'm in somebody's bathroom, I still open up their medicine cabinet and look.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Do you do that too?
Yeah. I see that little yellow-orange container with the white top that you can never open.
Right.
And it's like, something like melatonin or...
Yeah.
You can.
It's really funny. Hey, listen, we have to take one last break. Simon, stick with us. We'll be back in about 30 seconds, okay?
All right.
Thanks.
A cancer diagnosis can knock the wind out of you. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health can help. Our brand new Asplund Cancer Pavilion brings you 86,000 square feet of cancer-fighting science for truly comprehensive care. Backed by the strength of an NCI-designated cancer center. Call 1-800-JEFF now. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health. The power to out-science cancer.
Hi, this is Dion, the Wanderer. Listen to Clean and Sober Radio. You might hear something that'll change your life. Yo!
610-632-8601. This is Clean and Sober Radio.
Hey, we're back with Simon Kirke. You know, Simon, I'm going to tell you something. When Free came out and with All Right Now and with the Bad Company, I was so hoping you would let me come in your band because all these girls I wanted to get, and it really would have helped me. You know that?
Yeah, it does help.
Like, is there a point when you get almost sick of it, or you just like, you know? I mean, I can't imagine like you get all these babes. Huh?
Nah, you can't get sick of that.
No,
you can't. But sometimes, you know, without wanting to go into too much detail, you just want a night by yourself.
Yeah.
God, I wish I had that problem.
Listen. The three of us are married. We got to be very careful.
We really do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
And you can read into that what you want.
Yeah, of course.
I had a great time, but it did result in a couple of tragedies without getting too personal. I mean, I had girlfriends on the road, and I've sired a couple of kids out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. And one of them, you know, was brain damaged and died a few years ago.
I'm sorry.
So it came with a heavy price to pay, and you don't think about it when you're high and you're with a girl and you're doing what comes naturally and it's great, and then 2 months later you get a text, you know, I'm late.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah. So you know,
Listen, can I tell you something? I'm relatively healthy, okay, but
yeah.
I must have put thousands of Quaaludes into my body along with amphetamines and everything, and I think some of the things that I have now are as a result of what I did to my body back then.
Possible.
Yeah,
possible.
It's possible.
You know, the body's an amazing machine. It does heal itself, and one of the reasons I went into rehab is my liver was twice its normal size.
Ooh. Right.
And I was sweating even in very, very cold days because the liver being the filter of the body. But, you know, touch wood, you know, I keep healthy. I eat well. I do yoga. And I just look after myself now. And I'm 76 and I look 20 years younger. And,
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. But like I said earlier, in some cases, you make your own luck. You know? And giving up drinking drugs, that was the first step to achieving all that.
Yeah. Simon, listen, we're actually coming to the end. We really appreciate you. And I just want to mention, if we can be helpful in any way to your organization by getting the word out, Mark and I would be glad, more than glad, to do it. And you have my number. And seriously, I'll reach out to you. You can reach out to me. We would, whatever we can do. We're all here to give back.
Is that the one ending in 8601?
No. My number ends in.
Hang on.
I'm gonna. You know what I'll do? I don't want to give the actual.
Let me take it again.
Well, it ends in 1953. You might have it, but I will text you after we come off the air.
Text it to me. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thanks again,
Thanks,
brother.
Simon.
A pleasure.
This was great.
Pleasure is all ours. Thanks, Simon.
Okay.
See ya.
Okay.
See you later.
Thank you. Simon Kirke, everybody, founder of Free and Bad Company.
What a great guy.
What a great guy. Good interview. He's a really good interview, you know?
Yeah, I really liked his quote. Sometimes you make your own luck. And that kind of took me back a little bit, you know, with recovery. I have not. Maybe I'm the newer generation, Gary, you know?
Yeah, well, I just want to tell you something.
Yeah.
You are young, but you're not 20.
This is true.
Right?
This is true.
I do see a little gray hair.
A little bit of gray hair is coming in.
You can get rid of it.
There are many reasons.
You can get rid of it. Hey, we have a couple of, I just want to mention a couple of the people that are watching the show. Barbara Cashin is watching. I think she went to my high school.
Really?
Haverford. I don't know why I think it. Michael Barone. And Nolan Burchett, I agree, we should wear our recovery proudly in order to fully recover. And, you know, Nolan is, you know, the most incredible guy, one of them we've ever had on the show.
One of the best guests.
And he's running this incredible rehab, and I think they just got into a new location, brand new facility, And he is the reason why you go to rehab once, twice, 3 times. I don't care how many times you go. And even if you get in trouble with the law like he has and I have and you have, Mark, you get on the other side of it, hopefully. And he's an example of success.
And his story, we have to have him on again. Bank robbery, all this stuff. And now he's got all these, he's a 5-year anniversary of Clean and Sober Radio, too. He's got the little tag on there.
Well, we're a little, Nolan, if you're still listening, Mark and I are a little disappointed. When Levi was born, we really thought you were going to name the baby either Gary or Mark. So, we eventually got over it, okay?
And I'll never forget his quote about, going into a bank and throwing up outside, because, inactive addiction, and we really got to, we're teasing, but he's got such a great story. We got to get him back.
He definitely does. Was there anything that you didn't ask Simon Kirke that you wanted?
I could have asked him a lot about just, what's Sting like? What's Led Zeppelin like personality-wise?
Oh, wait, what's your famous question,
and
Mark?
Did you meet Jerry Garcia? I got to stop asking that one, but that's all that came to mind, Maybe next time we'll get into that, but what a great guy.
His bands, Mark, you were very young when that hit came out in 1970. It was gigantic. That hit record, All Right Now, was gigantic. And did I think I would ever meet the guy? We always talk about that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, how the people that we have met on this show because of recovery, basically. We never would have thought it,
I've heard that song on the radio since I was born, probably 1,000 times.
Yeah.
That's like that one song is just played still. So it's amazing how you can make a song and you wonder, is that going to be played 1,000 years from now?
Well, there'll be nothing here 1,000 years.
Oh, well, that's possible.
But look, Tchaikovsky, Mozart. What is that, Brad? 300-400 years?
It's like, when does it go out of style, or does it ever go out of style?
That I don't know. I thought it was a really good show.
Yeah, I did too. And how about his story about turning blue? And you hear of that. Sometimes that could be your heart going because he's using coke, and then he took a downer, and that was big trouble right there. His bottom.
Yes, it was.
And his moment of clarity.
All right, so you're not going to be here next week. You're having surgery on your wrist.
I am. And I'm actually, talk about recovery. I'm already in talks with my sponsor about, how do you handle pain meds? They're cutting into a nerve and all this stuff.
Listen, you have to take, for something, you're going to have to take pain medicine. You're just going to have to be honest with yourself when you don't need it anymore. And for that, it could be a day or 2 or 3. I don't know, but people are on it for, long periods of now you'll know, and then you'll go to Tylenol. You'll be fine.
Well, and I do the old, my style has always been, which I don't think was really recommended, is I'll take it for a day or 2, and then I dump it. I just toilet it.
No toilet.
I know.
Drop off.
I know, but I don't want it sitting around, taking it to a drop off. I'm just I flush it.
Okay. It's better to just flush it.
Just flush it. Gone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're there about now. Remember. Yeah. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, help is available. Please call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-HELP. For Clean and Sober Radio, I'm Gary Hendler.
I'm Mark Sigmund.
Hey, guys, thank you all for watching the show, for supporting us each and every day, basically. And that's it. It's a wrap. We'll catch you later.
I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves. I hope we pass the auditioning.
Hey, we hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving and have a great weekend. And we'll see you next week.